Hey there, it's Anna. Have you ever wondered how women behave when they are around a man they find attractive? Today we're going to uncover just that. It's all about the signs and the subtle, often unintentional ways women express their interest and attraction. Whether you are at a social gathering in the workplace or just out and about, understanding these signals can give you insights into how you are perceived by the opposite sex. If you're curious to know if you're hitting the mark and making the kind of impression that turns heads and sparks interest, then stick around. We are diving deep into the world of attraction to help you pick up on those revealing signs. Let's get started. Synchronized attention. Alright gentlemen, let's talk about a telltale sign that you are setting the room on fire with your sex appeal. Picture this, you walk into a party and suddenly it's like all the women in the room are synchronized swimmers and you are the main event. Heads turn, eyes widen and conversations come to a screeching halt as every lady in the vicinity seems to zero in on you like a heat-seeking missile. It's like you've got some kind of magnetic force field that draws female attention like moths to a flame. Now I know what you might be thinking, but how do I know if they're all looking at me because I'm hot or because I've got spinach in my teeth? Well, my friend, if you are rocking a mouthful of greens, trust me, you'll know. But if you are noticing a pattern of synchronized attention every time you enter a room, that's a pretty clear indication that you've got some serious sex appeal working in your favor. Of course, it's important not to let all this attention go to your head. Just because you are turning heads doesn't mean you are entitled to be a jerk or assume every woman wants you. But if you are consistently finding yourself at the center of a room full of admiring gazes, it's a good sign that you've got that special something that drives women wild. The competing compliment. Okay fellas, let's dive into another sign that you are setting hearts aflutter left and right. Imagine this, you are chatting with a group of lovely ladies and suddenly it's like you've stumbled into a compliment competition. One woman tells you how much she loves your sense of style and before you can even say thank you, another is gushing about your killer smile. A third chimes in to praise your infectious laugh and pretty soon it's like you are in the middle of a verbal tug of war, with each woman trying to outdo the others in the flattery department. Now don't get me wrong, compliments are always nice to hear and there's nothing wrong with graciously accepting them, but when you are consistently finding yourself on the receiving end of a barrage of competing compliments, that's a pretty clear sign that you are making quite the impression on the ladies. It's like they're all vying for your attention, trying to stand out from the crowd by showering you with the most effusive praise. And while it's important not to let it all go to your head because let's be real, nobody likes an egomaniac, it's still a pretty good indication that you've got a certain je ne sais quoi that's driving the women wild. So the next time you find yourself in the middle of a compliment competition, take a moment to bask in the glow of your own irresistibility. Just remember to stay humble, stay kind and stay focused on being the best version of yourself because that's the real secret to long-term sex appeal. The group giggle. Alright gents, let's talk about a phenomenon that's equal parts flattering and intimidating, the group giggle. You know what I'm talking about when you are out and about minding your own business and suddenly you hear a chorus of feminine laughter and whispering erupt behind you. You glance over your shoulder and sure enough there's a gaggle of gorgeous women huddled together, stealing glances your way and erupting into fits of giggles like a pack of mischievous schoolgirls. It's enough to make even the most confident guy feel a little bit like he's back in high school, wondering if he's got toilet paper stuck to his shoe. But here's the thing, my friend, more often than not, those group giggles are a sign that you're doing something very, very right in the sex appeal department. When women get together and start whispering and laughing in your presence, it's often because they're all appreciating the same thing, namely how damn fine you are looking. It's like you are the juicy piece of gossip they can't wait to dish out, the eye candy they're all secretly, or not so secretly, drooling over. And while it can be a little nerve-wracking to feel like you're under a microscope, it's also a pretty clear indication that you've got the kind of magnetic presence that sets hearts racing and imaginations running wild. So the next time you find yourself triggering a wave of group giggles in your wake, take it as a compliment, my friend. Just don't let it go to your head. After all, a little mystery goes a long way in keeping those ladies intrigued. Interest overload. Gentlemen, let's dive into another sign that you are setting off all kinds of sexy sirens in the female population. Picture this, you are going about your day doing your thing when suddenly you find yourself fielding an onslaught of questions from various women about your personal life. One wants to know what you do for a living, another is curious about your hobbies, and a third is practically interrogating you about your relationship status. It's like you've stumbled into a press conference, except instead of reporters, you are surrounded surrounded by a bevy of beautiful women all clamoring to learn more about the man behind the mystery. Now, don't get me wrong, it's natural for people to be curious about someone they find intriguing, but when you are consistently finding yourself on the receiving end of an unusual amount of interest from multiple women, that's a pretty clear sign that you've got a certain allure that's piquing their interest and sparking their imaginations. It's like they're all trying to piece together the puzzle of who you are, gathering little tidbits on information to paint a picture of the man that's captured their attention. And while it's important to maintain a little bit of mystery, because let's face it, there's nothing sexier than a guy with an air of intrigue, it's also a good indication that you're making quite the impression on the ladies. So the next time you find yourself fielding a barrage of questions from multiple women, take it as a compliment. Just remember to stay cool, stay confident, and keep them guessing, because that's the real secret to keeping those ladies coming back for more. The picture request. Alright fellas, let's talk about a surefire sign that you are the hottest commodity in the room, the picture request. You know what I'm talking about. When you are out at a party or social event, you suddenly find yourself being asked to pose for pictures with various vixens left and right. It starts with one brave soul coming up to you and asking if you wouldn't mind taking a quick pic together. Before you know it, you're surrounded by gorgeous women all clamoring to capture a moment with the man of the hour. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what if they just want a picture for their Instagram feed? And sure, that's always a possibility, but when you are consistently finding yourself being asked to pose for photos with multiple women at every event you attend, that's a pretty clear indication that you've got a certain star power that's making you out the most sought after guy in the room. It's like you are the celebrity everyone wants a piece of, the dashing leading man that every woman wants to be seen with. And while it's important not to let all that attention go to your head, it's still a pretty clear sign that you've got the kind of sex appeal that makes women want to capture a little piece of your magic for themselves. So the next time you find yourself being asked to pose for a picture with a lovely lady, or two or three, go ahead and flash that $1 million smile. Just remember to stay gracious, stay grounded, and always be ready for your close-up, because when you are the hottest guy in the room, the camera loves you almost as much as the ladies do. Consistent flirting. Okay gents, let's dive into one of the most obvious but still thrilling signs that you are the talk of the town when it comes to sexual attractiveness: consistent flirting. I'm talking about those moments when you are just going about your business and suddenly you find yourself on the receiving end of a barrage of playful comments, coy smiles and hair flips from a variety of lovely ladies. Maybe you are at the coffee shop and the barista slips you a wink as she hands over your daily dose of caffeine. Maybe you're at the gym and the girl on the treadmill next to you strikes up a conversation peppered with flirty one-liners. Or maybe you're just walking down the street and you find yourself being showered with appreciative glances and sly grins from passing women. When you are consistently experiencing these kinds of flirtatious interactions with multiple women, it's a pretty clear sign that you've got a certain something that's setting hearts aflutter left and right. It's like you're giving off some kind of irresistible pheromone that's drawing women to you like bees to honey. Now, of course, it's important to remember that not every flirtatious interaction is an invitation to take things further. Sometimes women just enjoy a bit of playful banter without any expectation of it leading somewhere. But when you are consistently finding yourself on the receiving end of flirtatious behavior from a variety of women, it's a good indication that you've got a certain sexual magnetism that's hard to ignore. Now that you know those signs, what's next for you? Discover what women ask when they've been thinking about you romantically, or learn the secret power of ignoring women. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.